Theon Greyjoy.
What is your name?
My name is Reek.
My name is Reek. Not a surrender, Ramsay Bolton didn't break Theon Greyjoy with knives. He broke him with something far more precise. He made Theon bury himself alive and call the grave his home. What follows is not about cruelty. It is about architecture, specifically the architecture of destroying a person so completely that they help you finish it. To calculate the atmospheric pressure of this dungeon, we must understand what each person carries into it before a single word is spoken. Theon Greyjoy arrived in Ramsay's cells, already fractured. He had betrayed Robb Stark, lost Winterfell, been humiliated by his own men, and captured by the very family whose castle he destroyed. No allies, no standing, no leverage. Ramsay Bolton, on the other side of that room, held total control. The cell, the instruments, and his father's sanction. But Ramsay didn't want a corpse. A corpse has no use. He wanted something that would operate willingly, a tool built from the ruins of a man. And to build that tool, he first had to gut the structure that currently occupied Theon's skin.
What? No. Pork sausage.
The sausage was never the cruelty. The cruelty lived in the pause before Ramsay said, "Pork sausage." That single beat where he watched Theon absorb the implication and say nothing. The phantom limb joke arrives immediately after, shifting register into something that almost resembles dark humor between equals. A man who shares a gallows joke with you is not your enemy. Ramsay understands this. He spends cruelty and then pulls back into warmth, leaving Theon's nervous system without a stable signal to track. Intermittent degradation, a conditioning method in which the abuser alternates between cruelty and apparent warmth to prevent the target from building a consistent emotional defense. In this exchange, Ramsay cycles through mock concern, surgical humiliation, and then easy companionability within 30 seconds. Theon cannot calibrate. The confusion is structural, built deliberately so that no single emotional posture protects against all of them. A person who cannot predict pain cannot organize resistance against it.
My mother taught me not to throw stones at cripples. But my father taught me to aim for their head.
One line, but it carries two signals simultaneously. On the surface, dark humor, almost collegial. Underneath, an explicit lineage claim. Ramsay is telling Theon that what happens in this dungeon has inheritance behind it. Not impulse, not rage, but education. Roose Bolton taught this, which means it is systematic, repeatable. Theon is not dealing with a man who snapped. He is dealing with a methodology.
Kill me.
What?
Kill me.
A little louder.
Kill me!
You're no good to me, dead. We need you.
Theon asks to die 3 times. Ramsay refuses all 3. Most viewers read the refusal as either mercy or utility. Ramsay needs a living Greyjoy for political leverage. Both readings miss the actual function. When a man asks to die and is denied, the death wish doesn't dissolve. It turns inward. Theon begins to understand at a cellular level that his suffering will continue on someone else's timeline. Exit is not a variable he controls. The only thing he can manage is how much pain accumulates before the next hour arrives. Learned helplessness, a psychological state produced by repeated exposure to uncontrollable outcomes in which the subject stops attempting to change their situation even when escape becomes possible. Martin Seligman identified this mechanism in laboratory conditions using subjects who received inescapable shocks. After sufficient repetitions, subjects stopped attempting escape even when it was made available. The 3 refusals in this scene are 3 more shocks to Theon's nervous system, not evidence of mercy, but calibration. Ramsay is sealing the cage from the inside, using Theon's own despair as the lock.
You don't look like a Theon Greyjoy anymore. That's a name for a lord. But you're not a lord. You're just meat. Stinking meat.
The word meat is doing precise surgical work here. Meat carries no history. Meat has no lineage claim. Meat belongs to whoever holds the knife. By naming Theon meat, Ramsay performs a kind of linguistic amputation, excising the Greyjoy name from the body that carries it. In Westeros, identity is relational at its foundation. You are who your father was. You are where you came from. The name is not a label. The name is the person. Stripping it is not metaphorical. It is ontological demolition. Identity severance, a coercive technique in which the abuser systematically dismantles the target's sense of continuous self by eliminating markers of prior identity, name, history, relationships, and status. The void between Theon and Reek is not accidental. Ramsay needs it empty before he can build into it. You're just meat is not the endpoint. It is the gap, the no man's land where Theon exists as nothing, belonging nowhere, claimed by no one, not even himself. From this position, any name Ramsay offers will feel like ground.
You reek. Reek! That's a good name for you.
Read that exchange stripped of its fictional frame. A man in a cell, physically destroyed, denied death, emptied of his name, is being asked to fill the void with a sound that means filth. The question repeats because repetition is the mechanism. The first time Theon doesn't answer. The second time he tries to offer Greyjoy. The third time the old name no longer arrives. Something has shifted below the level of conscious choice. The name Reek is not a surrender to superior force in this moment. It is the first spontaneous emission of a new identity.
My name is Reek.
Coerced self-narration, a conditioning outcome in which the subject begins actively producing and repeating the abuser's preferred narrative about their own identity, eliminating the need for external enforcement. Every private repetition of that name, every time Reek uses it in his own internal monologue, reinforces the architecture Ramsay built. The abuser no longer operates from outside. The conditioning has migrated inward. Ramsay can leave the dungeon. The dungeon doesn't. But here is what the show never told you. In A Dance with Dragons, George R.R. Martin wrote the Reek chapters in first-person present tense, a deliberate literary choice that places the reader inside a mind that has already stopped calling itself Theon. The character does not remember being Theon Greyjoy the way someone remembers a past self. He remembers it the way someone remembers a dream, unreal, untethered, belonging to someone else. Martin included a detail the show strips entirely. Reek is not nostalgic when people call him Theon. He is terrified. The old name has been weaponized against its original owner. Hearing it means Ramsay might find out, which means fresh consequence. Theon's name, the thing most fundamentally his, has become the thing most likely to destroy him. The coercion is now fully self-sustaining. The mechanism Ramsay runs has a documented name outside Westeros. It appears in the psychology of high control groups, certain abusive relationships, and coercive institutional environments. The sequence is consistent. Eliminate the prior identity, manufacture a void, introduce the replacement during maximum vulnerability, then make the subject repeat the new identity until internal enforcement replaces external pressure. What makes it durable is not fear of punishment. The prior self becomes inaccessible, not because memories vanish, but because the emotional continuity that makes those memories feel like mine has been severed. Ramsay didn't need Theon to forget Pike. He needed him to stop feeling like the person who grew up there. The scene most people read as Ramsay being a monster is actually Ramsay being a craftsman. Every beat, the joke, the warmth, the refusal, the meet the ritual, is a stage in a process he understands completely. The outcome was not cruelty for cruelty's sake. The outcome was Reek, a person who serves willingly, who requires no chains because the prison is cognitive, and who will, seasons later, still flinch at the sound of his own birth name. Ramsay eventually lost Reek anyway. Theon re-emerged just enough to save Sansa. So here is the question worth considering. Was it Theon who returned, or something else entirely wearing Theon's name out of necessity, because the alternative required dying for a man who deserved it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you in the next.